Okay. So today we're doing today's Tanya for the 5th of year, April 22nd. We are towards the end of chapter 44. And so therefore we're going to summarize a lot of what we learned in a very practical way. So on page 111, the Chayenu, it says like this. The said two categories of love. Remember, we talked about chapter 44 was an extremely specific, practical type of meditation. And the two categories are, remember, what are they? They are the jargon. Nafshi ivisicha, love, which means I love you, God, like I love my soul because you're the life of my soul. Right?
Wow.
I love living, I love myself, and you're the life of myself, so I love you.
Mm-hmm.
That's more, if you think about it, that's actually a more of a thrust towards yourself, right? It's like more like going deeper into yourself. In a way, it's like loving God because God is yourself. And then he says
Say it the opposite way.
the fact that you love yourself, that's a given. That you want to live. The realization is that the real life of yourself is God, right?
Wow.
You therefore love God. But it's a very I don't call it selfish, but it's a reframing of self. The fact that you love yourself or you want yourself to continue is not is every basic person wants that. We're saying that you gotta broaden your understanding of how yourself exists because your true self is part of God, right? Something like that. So it's a little more limited. It's more limited in the sense of we said you're not gonna self-sacrifice because it's based on self. Do you know what I'm saying? There's a limit to the self-sacrifice because it was like, what was the advertisement that got you in the door? Self.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a broader, deeper understanding of self that self is really a part of God, so therefore you love God. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Any and the other one, what was the I was so the first one's called Nav Shivisicha. I love myself's true self, God. The love of a loving God as a father, creator, maker, a son who tends to his father, that's relating to God as your source of being, which we said is more. It goes further because we see with a son. You took it for granted. You see a son who loves their father will give his life to save his father. So too, if you view yourself as a child of God, you have a love. You have an adulation to God that you will do anything for God. You'll even give your life for God. So it's a deeper love. Okay, so that was what we talked about. Those two categories are, though they are an inheritance unto us from our patriarchs, and like a natural instinct in our souls, and so too as a natural instinct is the fear that is comprised, namely the fear of being sundered, God forbid, from the source of our life and our true Father, blessed be He. Meaning, even though they're genetic, they're spiritual genetics, right? Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Moshe are our spiritual fathers. They had these loves, both the deeper self love and then the as a son who strives for the father love. And that's how we have them. They are, nevertheless, not termed natural fear and love unless they be in the mind and thought alone in the latency of the heart. If you remember a little bit, does anybody remember anything? I mean, I usually forget. This time, maybe because I had to teach it, I remember. We talked a few chapters, I think chapter 40, I think it was chapter 40, about intellectual generated love of God and instinctual generated love of God. Does that sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
So we pointed out that which one reaches higher? And we know which one reaches higher? Intellectual generated? Intellectual. Instinctual, which we said every Jew has instinctual, hidden love for God. It is love and it is awe, but it's not as exalted, it's not as lofty, it's not sophisticated. So the intellectual one goes to the world of Bria, and the instinctual one goes to the love. If you can awaken it a little bit or be aware of it, it raises the mitzvah to the revelation in the world of Yetzirah.
But intellectual is only the brain. It doesn't. It has to permeate more than the brain. No.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but it's incorporating the mind as well. It's not only instinctual,
Mm-hmm.
which is very
Mm-hmm.
low level emotions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're lofty, they're very special. They're God instincts, but they're low level in the hierarchy of your faculties.
Mm-hmm.
You need both, just for the record. Now, but here's the point. Here, we're talking about the hybrid loves. We call them the hybrid loves. That they're these two specific pathways. Nafshi ivisicha. I love God because God is my true self. And I feel like a adoring son to God, my father, and therefore I'll do anything for God, even sacrifice if need be. Seemingly, those fit under the category of, if they're genetic, what are they? Are they intellectual or are they instinctual? Instinctual. So seemingly, their place would only be in the 10th sphere of Yetzirah, to where they raise up with them the Torah mitzvah of which they have been the inspiration and cause. So here's the deal. This is the little nuance of, on one hand, you have to remember how we got here. Just like we started with the basic food groups, the basic building blocks. Last chapter, that you have intellectual love, and then you have, well, let's summarize in our own words. There's really three categories of a love/awe. Instinctual, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's meditative, generated, intellectual love. And then we said a third category, avarabba, which was when someone is so refined, God rewards them to have love of delight, like a little glimpse of the love in heaven. So, and typically that's reserved for tzaddikim.
Mm-hmm.
So that was chapter 43. Chapter 44 is a little more practical in the sense it's giving you, you know what, you're not a tzaddik, but here's a nifty little product off the shelf called these two particular loves: the love of my true self, nafshi visicha, and the love of the son striving after the father. Those are very specific. They're not like fundamental categories. They're just like specific products. Weird how in the middle of it. Okay. So these specific products, every product is made of principles. We say they have both. they both have the aspect of intellectual because you got to think about it. And at the same time, they have an aspect of a gift from God that you don't have to make it entirely. It's a gift from God, which is interesting because it's a new reframing to me, at least, of, remember I said there's three building blocks. There's instinctual love, intellectual love, and then tzaddik level delight love. It turns out that instinctual love, which these products that we're selling here, right? These, the nafshi, the two particulars of I love my true self and the love of God's my father. I strive after my father. It turns out that there's not actually three categories. That in a way, this is very cool. Ahava Rabbah, the tzaddik level gift love. What does that mean? Instinctual is a gift. Instinctual love, which we typically look as much more less lofty, it's a gift though. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's a different way of looking at it. That I was so it's low, it's instinct. It's not so mind based. But if you think about it, instinct is a gift. You didn't create this spiritual gene of hidden love. So to me, it's almost like he's saying that that's why, yes, this is instinctual love, these two products. But instinctual love that has no thought, there's no has no intellect. Yeah, that's more. It's not. It's. I guess it's not. It's not. I'm not sure because I'm not sure it said there about how do you generate the instinctual love? You do have to think. But I guess it's not about thinking about God so much. It's more just realizing you're a Jew and you have these feelings.
It's a gift.
But if you get to it without thinking about God so much, you just think that, like, I'm a Jew and I have this Jewish love for my fellow Jews and for mitzvahs. But you don't think about God so much. That's my understanding. It's maybe not, that stays instinctual. It stays on a lower level in Yetzirah. Next page. But when the 2 degrees of love are in a manifest state in the heart as a result of contemplation, meaning if you awakened the instinctual love with at least some God preface, right? They're called in the Zohar the term Ru'uta Deliba, the heart's desire, meaning a more exalted love than instinctual love, natural love. It's higher. What do you mean? It's the same thing. You don't have it without the gene instinct. But because you engage the brain as well to bring out your innate instinctual love, then the love is raising your mitzvahs up to the 10 sphere of Bria, the world of higher awareness of God, where they raise up with them the Torah mitzvah of which they have been the cause, which have been performed with the ardor of this love.
So the instinctual love is, going back a little bit, the instinctual love is based on the love of self and the love of and paternal love. That's said to be instinctual love.
Because you need brains to create it. Does it exist only because of meditation? No, it's default. It's a default factory setting.
I'm raising a question whether it is default, because there are plenty of people who don't love themselves, and there are plenty of people who don't love their fathers.
And we would say that is a unhealthy.
Yeah,
that's a bug in the system.
It's not. You to say that it's the default is.
I don't know if that's a default. I think that's a bug. I don't know anything about psychology. Right. I make stuff up, but I think I would imagine if you talk to a psychologist, they would say naturally a child wants to love and adore and give nachas to their parents.
Well,
but if you life is messy.
A lot of plays and dramas built around the opposite. assumption
particularly
that
Jewish,
the-
parent,
well, I don't-
child,
The
film.
HR is very good. What are you saying?
Well, questioning whether it's the default. That's all.
It's a
I
question.
think people could argue, could argue about that.
Right. I think, yeah. I look. I'm sure you can go either way. I mean, I'm sure there's ways to talk about anything. If we believe God made man, I'm going to go on a very basic level, right? God made man. We're not just random mutations, right? God actually made man and gave man, human, women also, gave people software, right? God created software,
Mm-hmm.
the way the human being's psyche works.
Mm-hmm.
You have love, you have awe of all these things. You're a meaning-seeking being. You're a relationship-seeking being. I think that it would make sense to say that God would create the person would want to, let's say, love themselves
Mm-hmm.
and to love their parent. Now, there is a mitzvah, just for the record. There's mitzvahs about not, mutilating yourself, right? There's mitzvahs of honoring parents, implying that there is a struggle. Just because something's deep,
also, I mean,
just because something is could be hard for somebody,
right,
and therefore there's a commandment to make sure you do it.
right.
It wouldn't be a commandment if it wasn't a
Right.
choice.
So if it just came naturally, it wouldn't be a commandment.
But I'd say it is natural, but the execution of how the parent raised the child in the relationship as a huge, you can do damage in the interim. You can make a person, right? If a person's abused, God forbid, they can hate themselves.
Yeah.
They become suicidal. Is that normal? Is that the default setting to be suicidal? I don't think so. Society, not just parents, but society, throws a lot of things, particularly in our day, that makes people, have trouble living a flow life. I think a flow life, like take the parent thing away. I think it's fair to say people naturally are not suicidal. With all types of mental health or whatever's going on in the world, yeah, people can do things that are against that, but it doesn't mean it's not the factory setting.
Okay.
And perhaps, I'd imagine with a parent as well, although it's trickier with a parent. But anyways, so it does seem to take them as a what does the Steinsaltz say? Anything? I'll get there in a second. Anyways, for their emergence from the latency and concealment of the heart into a state of revelation comes to the faculty of dat. Dat is through a powerful fixation of the mind, an intense concentration from the depths of the heart, powerfully and frequently on the blessed Ein Sof as to how he is our very life and our blessed true Father. Moreover, what is written in the Tikkunim is well known, that there is the world of Bria, and nests the supernal mother, which is the contemplation of the infinite light of the blessed Ein Sof, the giver of life, blessed be. It says Bria is called the mother. What's mother? Because it's Bina. It's a world of contemplation. And this is in accordance with the teaching of Elijah in Tikkunei Zohar. Bina is in the heart, and with it the heart understands. Meaning all meditation understanding is take place in the heart, illuminate the heart. So because you awakened, you brought a steady experience of this love and awe because of your contemplation, even though it was you had some training wheels because you had the default, you had this natural ability. But the fact that you could bring it up, we took contemplation. So it has the benefit of being a higher level revelation. Furthermore, these two categories of love that have been referred to above, again, the nafshi v'sicha, love of my soul, and the love of like a son, incorporate a quality of love which is greater and more sublime than intelligent fear and love. The kind that results from contemplating God's greatness, the love termed above ahavat olam. So this is why these two products, nafshi v'sicha, and kibra dishtadol basar avui, I love my true self, God. I love my God with my Father. They have both. They have elements of both. They have a contemplative starter, therefore has contemplative advantage. And it also has the gift advantage because, right, what's the gift?
Internal.
It's internal. It's a gift. You were gifted with this capacity. So he says in the bottom here in the Steinsaltz commentary that every human being is different than an animal. An animal does not have the capacity for, high-level mathematics to read, write, and so on. A human being does have those abilities. But to bring them from potential to actual, takes work, takes action. It takes deliberate and conscious, focusing and developing, bringing it to the fore. The fact that we can read black marks on paper and understand words and sentences, right?
Hashem.
That's a human ability we got from our ancestors. Which God created, right? Yeah. Yet, when a child is being taught to read and understand, it is no longer a matter of nature. Learning and development require intent and conscious effort. Some people need years of exertion, while others, the process is almost effortless. Either way, it is an additional stage which no longer involves inborn traits, but acquiring knowledge and focusing one's thoughts. He says another interesting thing. There's two types of innate emotions, right? There's spontaneous emotions, right? Like someone gives you $1 million, you're really happy, right? Someone cooks a delicious meal for you, you're really. And there is another emotion which is also innate and genuine, but it's not spontaneous. It does not reveal itself in flow of its own accord. In order to reveal the second emotion, the conscious effort of the rational soul is needed. So you can have an innate emotion, but it's not spontaneous. That takes the contemplation. Okay, that's that for that.